Hi. I'm here to refute the claim that legalizing marijuana may have negative effects on California in a social and economic manner. My opponent's three main subpoints are: legalizing marijuana increases government spending, legalizing marijuana creates a drug-driven environment, and legalizing marijuana increases drug trafficking. Now, in one of my opponent's first claims, he states that about 374,000 is the amount of people that are currently dependent on marijuana. Now, the main problem with this fact is that I've visited the actual site, which is a statement by the ONDCP director, the Office of National Drug and Control Policy, and I found the citation he used for his number. And I then visited the website that was the treatment episode data set of 2007 highlights, which contains all the data of the different substance abuse throughout the years of 2007 to 1997. And I was unable to find the number of 374,000, therefore proving that his numbers are somewhat inaccurate. Another thing I noticed about the dependence data set is that marijuana only takes about 15.8% of the dependent rate, while alcohol is seen to take about 40.3% of all reported dependent usage. Therefore, that marijuana is not as great of effect compared to the actual other dependents. And it is seen that between the years of 1997 and 2007, that the percent of marijuana dependent usage reporting is at a consistent rate between 15.8% and with only a high in the year 2005 of 16%. And his second claim, that legalizing marijuana creates a drug-driven environment, I found a quote from PhD Dr. Elsa Holy stating that the main problem with marijuana that he found through his research is that a majority of the risk is involved through the actual smoking of marijuana, and the actual health risks have not been connected to lung cancer in large studies. And that another proof that I found was that there is no concrete proof that marijuana is considered a gateway drug based off of the dependence chart of the TEDS. It's found that based off of the current culture of drugs in our society, that current marijuana has been changing and increasing, but only based off of the drug culture throughout the recent years. His third claim, that legalizing marijuana increases drug trafficking, I was not able to find any proof that he stated based off of the purchase of marijuana to actually be easy to purchase. The term easy was not clearly defined, and easy may be different depending on one person's point of view of what would be considered easy for purchasing marijuana. And another statement he made in his subpoint is that releasing it to the public may cause negative effects. However, you can't determine what exactly will be the reaction of the general public, because unlike alcohol that was banned and then rebanned in the Prohibition era, this is a different type of substance that does not have any previous release of a similar type of substance, and therefore cannot be compared to the extreme reaction that it may possibly have on the general public. Thank you.
Right, you start off pretty clearly labeling the main and secondary claims. When you get to the first point, your argument isn't as clear as it should be. There's this discussion about where the statistic came from and what it all really means, and I think you kind of get sidetracked into an issue trying to track down the actual number. The follow-up argument that you make tries to put it into a context that diminishes it by comparing it to alcohol, and you've got some similar kinds of statistics for doing so. Okay, you do need to make a declarative statement here that talks about why that means that this is less important than the advocate is presenting. In the long run, how much impact it's going to have on society. It's relatively benign in comparison to other problems that we're faced with. I think that's what you need to develop a little bit more. On the second point, there's not really any analysis. You've got a quote that you come out with that's got to do with where the harms come from, and I'm not exactly sure what declarative idea you're trying to make with that point. Then you get into a discussion about whether or not it's a gateway drug, and your point is not really clear at all. If it's not a gateway drug, or it's only a gateway drug in the present system and it wouldn't be a gateway drug once it was legalized, you need to be a little bit more specific about that particular claim. On the third point, I think that you basically have a press on what the word easy means, and I'm not sure what that gets you either way. And then you've got a challenge to the comparability of alcohol, and you're saying, well, they're completely different things. Well, wait a second. Isn't that the comparison that you made on the first point? So it seems like you're trying to have it both ways here. We'll make the comparison to alcohol when it diminishes the significance of marijuana, but we're not going to allow the comparison to alcohol when we're talking about how widespread its use or availability would be, and that just seems a little inconsistent. All right, thank you.